Thanks for having us. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Pikeville Medical Center. Thanks to each of you for being with us today. As most of you know, we open all of our events with prayer. So at this time, I'd like to ask our Director of Chaplaincy Services, Randy Johnson, to come and give our invocation.
Thank you, Rick. Let's pray. God, in the midst of life's storms, you are present. We thank you. We ask, as we start today, that you bless our neighbors that have been affected by the storms of late. We ask now for your presence and your blessing on this occasion. Bless our Governor, Andy Beshear. Bless our state and county leaders, and bless our CEO, Donovan Blackburn. We give thanks to you for these two leaders in particular and their agencies, both instruments of your grace and purveyors of mercy. Grant them vision, fill them with conviction, empower right acts, for we know your blessings of them and our institutions will be a gift to those who labor and to all that we serve. Amen.
So we have some special guests that we'd like to recognize. If I could, when I call your name, if you could please stand so that we could recognize you. So we have State Senator Johnny Ray Turner. Senator Philip Wheeler. State Representative Ashley Lafferty. State Representative Angie Hatton. We have Adam Rice from Congressman Hal Rogers' office. Mr. Rocky Adkins from the Office of the Governor. Judy Callahan from the Kentucky Attorney General's office. Mayor Jimmy Carter, City of Pikeville. Bob Shurtleff, City Commissioner. Philip Ellswick, City Manager. Philip Reed, Commissioner of Public Safety. From the City of Coal Run, we have Mayor Andrew Scott. Also from Coal Run, Commissioner Trey Deskins. Also from Pike County, Keith Hall, County Attorney. District Judge Robbie Wright. Also District Judge Tommy May. Sheriff Rodney Scott. And Commonwealth Attorney Bill Sloan. Also, Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Melissa Goodman. From Floyd County, we have Sheriff John Hunt. John. Also from the Floyd County Attorney's Office, Michelle, can't read it, Sodi. The Southeast Chamber of Commerce, Jordan Gibson. And from the Big Sandy Area Development District, Joe Jacobs. Joe, welcome. And we have Dr. Sherry Zilka, President of Big Sandy Community and Technical College. Pike County Superintendent Reed Atkins. Pikeville Independent Board of Directors Chairman Joe Ray Thornsberry. From the Pikeville Independent School Board, we have Ashley Brown and Brittany Ratliff. If we missed anybody, we certainly apologize. So, our first speaker today should be well known to most of you. He's no stranger to this podium. He's been the leader of our organization for more than the last 2 years. Prior to that, he spent many years in local government. So that gives him a special insight and appreciation for the value of strong public-private partnerships that benefit the community, particularly in areas of economic development, workforce development, and the provision of vital services such as health care. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our CEO and the Vice President of our Board of Directors, Mr. Donovan Blackburn.
Well, again, welcome everyone. We're really excited and delighted, Governor, to have everyone come out today. I think the Governor brought the sunshine with him. We haven't seen that in quite some time either. So, but first of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. My dear wife over here, Debbie, the love of my life, this is what I did for you today, honey. Thank you. And then I'd like also to take the opportunity, if my board of directors, if you would please stand and be recognized, I would appreciate it as well. Many of you that have been at an event like this with me, I'm traditionally talking about something in regard to a new innovation, a new idea, something that's going on that's really going to change healthcare in our community. Today's no different, because I get the opportunity of introducing our governor, who certainly believes in healthcare and is going to be leaving his mark across the state in so many different ways. So, Governor, again, welcome to Pikeville Medical Center. So I'm going to do this in a little unique fashion. I'm going to both introduce the governor and talk a little about some of our initiatives all at the same time, because really they go hand in hand. So again, excuse me, I'd like to welcome Governor Andy Beshear and to again introduce you to the governor. I want to talk a little bit about who he is and what he's done. So Governor Beshear is obviously the 63rd governor of the state of Kentucky. The governor is married to his wife and our new First Lady, Brittany, and has 2 children, Will and Lila. Excuse me. Thank you.
I got that one.
Yeah, you better. He's obviously also the son of Steve Beshear, who served as 61st governor from 2007 to 2015 and did wonderful things throughout our region, including working with Congressman Hal Rogers in the creation of SOAR. To see my good friend Gene Hill in the audience. Now, the opportunity to be appointed by both the governor and the congressman at that time as the first managing director of SOAR, so I understand its importance firsthand in the mark that it leaves throughout our region. The governor received his undergraduate degree from Vanderbilt University and then attended the University of Virginia School of Law. Through the beginning of his career, he practiced as an attorney working for Stikes and Harbison, who also happens to be the hospital's attorneys, before running for the office of Attorney General in 2014, where he was elected to Kentucky as Kentucky's 5th Attorney General. He served 1 term from 2015 to 2019 before becoming the governor of the great state of Kentucky. As the Kentucky Attorney General, the governor, he took a stand against pharmaceutical companies for their involvement in fueling the opioid crisis in Kentucky. He created the Kentucky Opioid Disposal Program to remove unused opioids from Kentucky's medicine cabinets. What is important to the governor is extremely important to both our organization and our community. The Governor Beshear supports Kentucky educators higher education, and pensions. He is focused on bringing more deserves certainly a round of applause. He is focused on bringing more manufacturing jobs to Eastern Kentucky to offset the jobs lost to the declining coal industry. I had the opportunity just a few moments ago to meet with the governor before this press conference and discuss how we can work together to support and launch Project HEART, healthcare employment around regional training. The intent is to expand and or develop programs in our high schools and our communities, preparing a pathway and a curriculum with the intended results of creating greatly needed skilled workforce to fill the many need of our health jobs throughout our region. The facts are, if we train them here and from home, the chances are they'll stay here at home. Simply put, we have an aging population which continues to create a great demand for health care. We have a medical school. We have a wonderful world-class leading regional hospital right here at Pikeville Medical. And through attrition and new services, we'll need to hire an average of 500 to 600 people every single year. We need to focus on creating programs that will allow the people of our region every opportunity to access to education and training to help fill these jobs. Now here's the great news. We now have a governor here today that understands all these needs as I have just outlined. His priorities and commitment to health care and to job creation for all those, not only throughout Eastern Kentucky, but right here where we call home. Governor Beshear not only supports increasing numbers of healthcare jobs in Kentucky, he also supports Kentucky's Medicaid expansion, which provides affordable health care to over 500,000 Kentuckians, including people with pre-existing conditions. This is important to our region, most important, because the mix here at PMC is about 75% Medicaid, Medicare. This means access to health care to our friends and to our families. Governor Beshear, again, I greatly appreciate the commitment to these important items, as I've mentioned, and I'm certainly honored for you to be with us here today. You know, 2 years ago, Pikeville Medical Center adopted our motto and our battle cry, "Together we rise." You will see this throughout the hospital, on many of our publications, and even on our name badges. We simply believe in this principle. We are the family of 3,100 healthcare ambassadors from 34 different counties throughout our region. We are a Christian organization with family values offering world-class health care to many. You know, Proverbs 18:24 says, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly." The governor has done just that today. We welcome him through our doors. He is a friend to health care. He's a friend to growth and opportunity, and certainly to Pikeville Medical Center. Governor, I keep saying that we're honored, but certainly our doors are open, and we're proud now to call you family. We're together, we will rise. And as a family, as you noticed as you walked through the hall a moment ago, you saw a lot of our staff members here today in their apparel, black vest, and with the logo on the side. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time I would like to introduce you to Governor Andy Beshear, who has a monogrammed vest as a member of our family. I give you the governor.
That vest looks good. Yes. Oh, thank you all so much. And it is great to be in Pike County and Pikeville this afternoon. We have been traveling all of today, Valentine's Day, showing a little bit of our love to Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky and all of Kentucky are made up of amazing communities with amazing people that care about each other. It was just yesterday that I got to travel to see some of your neighbors in the South in some heavily flooded communities. You know, we are having a 100 years flood right now in Harlan and in Bell and Whitley. We have not had that much rain over that period of time since 1977, which I can personally tell you is 42 years ago because I was born that year. But here's the amazing thing. Even with that hundreds-year flood, we've only had one fatality. You know why? Because Kentuckians take care of Kentuckians. We've had over 100 successful evacuations. Our local officials and people's neighbors have been activated and have done amazing work. And you know, we only have 2 shelters open right now. And you probably think, how, with that many evacuations, do we only have 2 shelters? That's because Kentuckians take other Kentuckians into their home. So I hope that you feel as proud of our state and of our communities as I do here today. And I want to say, I believe here in Kentucky, we're not just a special place, we're at a special moment in time. And I think it's for 2 reasons. One is I think you'd agree that there is a different feeling right now around this state, and certainly a different feeling in Frankfort. It's a chance and an opportunity to be something better than what we have seen here and around this country. You know, we've been living in some of the most divisive, difficult times. I don't think anybody's enjoyed them. But right here and right now in this Commonwealth, in your neighborhoods, in Frankfort itself, we got a chance to get this right, to show that we are so much more than a party and a letter behind our name. We are moms and dads. We are brothers and sisters. We are people that care passionately about causes. We are folks that are shaped by our communities, by our faith, by our families. And we will always have more in common as Kentuckians than anything that can tear us apart. And so right here, right now, I think we got a chance to be a stronger, better Kentucky. One where we can disagree, but disagree like adults, on a Tuesday, and come back together on a Wednesday to get stuff done. And I am also excited because about 2 weeks and change ago, I got to submit a budget for consideration by our legislature. And let me tell you what's special about that budget. For the first time in 14 years, 14 difficult years, we have a proposed budget that doesn't make any more painful cuts. Our Eastern Kentucky communities and many of our Western Kentucky communities have felt those cuts the worst. They have gone way past cutting the fat, and they have gone deep into the bone. It's lost services that we desperately need. It's textbooks now held together by duct tape that our kids have been learning from. Sometimes it's lost lives because we didn't have the services that we needed for our people. But for the first time in 14 years, we're not being pushed backwards. We got a chance to step forwards. We have a budget that for the first time in 14 years means we don't just not have to cut, we can start reinvesting. And I think when we have that type of opportunity for the first time in over a decade, what do? We lead with our values. We put our party aside and we say what are the most important challenges facing us. For me, I think we begin in an area that lets us transform lives, transform families, and will transform this Commonwealth, which is public education. Reed here has how many teachers? Has about 800 teachers. They work hard every single day. And the work that they do is incredible because every time someone becomes a first-generation high school or a first-generation college graduate, they change the course of every generation that's coming after them. Listen, I know that. My dad grew up in a tiny town in western Kentucky called Dawson Springs and was a first-generation college graduate thanks to a lot of hardworking teachers at the Dawson Springs Independent School District. They make sure I can get that full name out there. And it's not just that he served as governor or that I stand here as your governor, but it's that I look at my kids and their future is totally different because an independent school system lifted up my dad, that guy. and it's changed the course of our family forever. That's what public education can do, but that's not all. Public education can lift up this entire state. I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of being 47th in per capita income. Yeah. And so the question is, how do we do better? Well, guess what? Per capita income and level of educational attainment line up directly. The way we do that is we get every kid through high school, or we get them their GED. And I was proud a couple weeks ago to announce we're going to waive the GED testing fee to anybody who can't afford it. And then we get everybody into, whether it's a two-year program, a four-year program, a skilled trade, into our nursing profession or others. We make sure that there is a bright career for everyone, and that's when our state takes off. So that's why we submitted an education-first budget that, folks, puts $400 million new dollars into our public schools. It does everything from recognizing that we have a teacher shortage crisis, and it is a crisis. We cannot have full-year substitutes teaching our kids in absolutely critical classes. We must solve it now. So my budget affords, and we can afford every dollar of it, a $2,000 raise to every one of our public school teachers. They've earned it. It also adds to our SEEK formula, providing for the first time in a long time extra dollars. It's about $40 extra for every single child coming through the school district, and it provides $11 million a year for textbooks, technology, and the type of flexibility that wasn't funded in that last budget, but it's going to help our school systems move forward. The budget goes, well, there's one other great piece of it. So we have this settlement with Volkswagen that I was able to negotiate as Attorney General. At the time, the administration, the governor's office, didn't want us to be a part of how we'd spend those funds. But since it doesn't get done, now I get to propose it. And so we have proposed using those dollars to provide every single school district across Kentucky with a new, clean, green school bus for every school system. I'm tempted to drive each one personally to the 170-something school districts. But we recognize that if we are going to truly change this Commonwealth, transform it with education, it has to include post-secondary education too. So again, for the first time in 14 years, we are not cutting our community colleges. We are not cutting our universities. We are actually adding money back in to help support higher education. Absolutely critical. We have further preserved those optometry spots so that Pikeville University will continue to have state support in that effort. And we were able, through a record year in the lottery, to be able to announce that we're going to provide more financial assistance than ever before, including an additional 7,500 need-based scholarships to help another 7,500 people get that next level. And I want you to know that our budget recognizes that our coal counties have been devastated. That whether it's regulation or the economy, it has harmed you in terms of coal severance dollars and wages that are not coming back into this or other counties. So I just submitted the first budget that, after certain costs and fees from the state, returns 100% of the coal severance dollars to our coal counties. So I'm really excited about where we're going. I like to think that in this administration, we work every day to right some wrongs. It's why we rescinded the Medicaid waiver that would have kicked 95,000 people off their health care. It's why we restored voting rights to 140,000 Kentuckians that should be able to vote in this great democracy. It's why we reformed our Kentucky Board of Education to make sure it was committed to public education. But there's another thing that we absolutely must do for our people, and that's about addressing black lung and the impediments that have been put in the way from people who need help, who should be properly diagnosed with getting the help they need. So we are standing here at Pikeville Medical Center in eastern Kentucky, and almost all of our coal miners live in western and eastern Kentucky, the two sides of our state. But in order to get the diagnosis they need to receive treatment for a very difficult disease, guess where they have to go? To Lexington or to Louisville. I think that's wrong. How about you? Oftentimes, it requires a full day. The drive, the wait, the follow-up. It's shameful. It is shameful. So I'm proud to stand here today with Representative Angie Hatton in support of House Bill 239, which will end this injustice. Instead of relying on just a handful of pulmonologists in our main metro areas, qualified physicians from all over this state could diagnose our miners and former miners with black lung disease. That means if you work in eastern Kentucky, you could come right here to the Pikeville Medical Center to get the diagnosis and the treatment that you need. If you, like I, believe that health care is a basic human right, then you ought to be able to access it in your own backyard. And it's because of that that our budget fully funds not only Medicaid, but expanded Medicaid. Yeah. It provides an extra couple $1 million to sign up every single child in Kentucky for some form of health care coverage. But if we're going to lead with our values, we must address this problem with not having enough doctors because of state obstacles to diagnose black lung. It is a tough disease, but our miners, I believe they're tougher, and they deserve a government that fights for them. HB 239 will make it easier for our coal miners to get screening and treatment for black lung. We got to take care of the people that took care of us. There is no question that our coal miners helped build this state and helped build this country. They kept the lights on. They provided low-cost energy for so many businesses that moved to Kentucky. So I've committed every single resource of my administration to be used to help our families and certainly our miners. They do dangerous, hard work, and they shouldn't have to protest on some train tracks just to get the wages that they earn. Yeah. I believe by doing the right thing, by addressing this problem and so many others, we lead with our values in a way that shows this Commonwealth, but also this world, what amazing people we have right here in eastern Kentucky. And let me tell you, I've had more phone calls than I can count from becoming governor on different businesses that want to relocate to Kentucky. And the most important part is our people. When we look out after each other, when we stand up for each other, we show the outside world that we are the types of communities that they want to be a part of. And what we're pushing for here and what this budget shows is just part of the where that this state is going. For us, the WHERE is an acronym that we live every day in our administration. The W is for wages. It is time not only for more jobs, but jobs that pay a better wage where you can raise a family on that one job. The H is for health care, making sure we have strong community hospitals, making sure that everybody can take their parents or kids to see a doctor when they're sick. The E is for education, how we transform this Commonwealth. The R is for retirements, which means we will always fund our pensions. They have been earned, and we will also take care of our parents and our grandparents as they age. And that last E, you see it every day in your community. That's example. It's about doing the right thing because it's the right thing. It's about leaving our party at home and bringing more of our home to Frankfort. Look at this. Look around. We got a united community that comes together to do the right thing and support each other. We can act like that every day in Frankfort. There is no limit to what we can do. So to the families that are here, that have pushed so hard, and I know have people very close to them that are suffering, I'm here for you. I'm with you. I'm going to do everything I can to get this bill passed. Thank you all very much. You want me to introduce Angie? Okay. And now I get the honor of introducing you to your state representative, somebody that has taken Frankfort by storm. Trust me, I've watched it. Let me tell you that she fights for you. I've watched in committee hearings. I've watched on the floor of the House. She has risen very quickly to leadership, something that helps this community in her party. And I got to tell you, you see the passion that Angie Hatton has for this community. She's the exact type of fighter that this region deserves. Representative Angie Hatton.
Always got to adjust the mic back down. After a long week in Frankfort, it is surely good to be home, back in my district, and good to see all of your faces. Thank you, Governor, for coming down here today, and I hope that he feels the welcome that I feel in this room today. There were a few folks that didn't get recognized that I saw here. I don't see them right this second, but Supreme Court Justice Sam Wright is here. If Sam Wright can, there you are, sir. Our new Department of Local Government Commissioner, Dennis Keene, is here. And all the way down from Louisville is Representative Charles Booker, who is my colleague in the House. Thanks for being here, Charles. But now I'd like to recognize some people that I consider real heroes of mine. If there are people here from the Black Lung Association and Letcher and Pike and UMWA and coal miners in general, if you guys would stand and let us clap for you. Thank you to every one of you for being here, and you guys should see how hard they fight. They are in Frankfort as much as I am, and I get paid to be there. They are up there. They are traveling to D.C. to get the attention of our congressman, and they will never stop fighting for the people that they love and that I love, and the hardworking coal miners who made their living just about as hard a job as anybody I know. And we thank you for what you're doing. We hear you, and it is really wonderful to know that we have a governor who also hears you. So thank you, Governor Beshear. On the campaign trail, Governor Beshear promised that he was listening to Eastern Kentuckians and that he would find us the help we need, and I'm so happy to see that every single chance he gets, he's living up to that promise. And, you know, my great-grandmother had 14 kids, and I asked her one time, I said, "Ma'am, I'll tell the truth. Is there one that you just love more than the others? Was there a favorite?" And she said, "Yeah, absolutely." She said, "Whichever one needed me the most. That's the one I loved the most." And there are probably in every family kids that need a little bit more love. They need a little bit more attention. And if Kentucky is a family, y'all, we need to be the favorite child just for a little while because we're in need. And I'm doing everything I can in Frankfort to get that attention that Eastern Kentucky needs. Our coal industry has all but left us, and we have to find ways to do better. And one of those ways that we need to do better is to make sure that we're healthy. I'm so grateful for all that Pikeville Medical Center is doing in this region, not only in making people healthier, but in creating good, well-paying jobs and benefits and retirement for our Eastern Kentucky people. Healthcare is a big part of our future, and we are all so proud of all that Pikeville Medical Center is doing, especially the Black Lung Clinic in particular. Couldn't stress enough how much that is needed right here at home. And so House Bill 239 that I passed is an attempt to correct what I don't want to believe was a heartless decision, but maybe just a really misguided decision to change the B reader requirement so that only 2 doctors in Central Kentucky are now qualified as B readers to have their testimony given presumptive weight in black lung hearings. And that eliminated doctors in Pikeville and in Western Kentucky in the coal fields. And it's just not right, y'all. It's just not how you treat people. It makes it a whole day. It makes it a lot longer to get to the doctor. It makes it less likely that you're going to get diagnosed in the first place. And then it makes it take a lot longer to get your hearing. So we're compiling the information. We're working hard. I know Senator Philip Wheeler has pledged his support as well to try and do some good. But it's going to take every one of you all being dedicated in supporting your local Black Lung Association and all those hardworking people. And you all keep the letters coming and the emails coming, because I know we're going to get the attention and have the right ears notice and listen the kind of help we need down here. Because down here, we all know the sound of a man's lungs turning black. We know what that sounds like. We know how horrible that disease is, that there is no cure, and that they have to have these benefits in order to pay for the medical care they need and to provide for their families. And too many of us know stories of people who died while they were waiting for their benefits. My grandfather worked 41 years underground in the coal mines, and he didn't get black lung till after he passed, when his autopsy proved that he was eaten up with it. And we all have stories like that. My grandma, thankfully, drew those benefits after he passed. But thank every one of you for being here. Thanks for all the support you show me, and it's awful good to be home.
Thank you, Representative Haddon. Thanks to everyone for being here, especially our public officials, community leaders and educators, and to members of the media covering the event today. And for the media, we've set up some special arrangements for interview opportunities in our meditation room, which is just off to my right down the hall. And while the media is getting set up there, we'd ask for Donovan, the governor, and everyone to come forward for a special photo at the front of the stage. Otherwise, you're dismissed.